You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN Emini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things Emini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro. Joining us today, Mr. Michael Borg. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Good afternoon, welcome back. Today is Thursday, 10th day of November, 2022. Thanks so much for joining us. Whoever you are, wherever you are, we're just glad to have you right here, right now. We actually do 2 live broadcasts every trading day. Now the first live broadcast, that's our live training room, that is reserved for members only and those who are taking their 1-week free trial. If you've not yet taken your 1-week free trial, there's no credit card required. In a few minutes, Michael will show you exactly how you go about taking your free trial. The afternoon broadcast begins at 12 noon Eastern, and unlike the first broadcast, the second broadcast is open to the public. Everybody, everywhere. There's 2 different ways to join this afternoon broadcast. One a little better than the other. I'll give you the best way first. Go to mytradingiq.com. Scroll down to where it says afternoon broadcast. Click the link, complete the 30-second registration form, and then every trading day going forward, you'll get an email before this broadcast starts. All you have to do is click the link in the email and it will automatically log you into our platform. So what makes that the better way? Well, it gives you access to the question box so that you can ask questions and participate in the discussion. Now the second way to join this afternoon broadcast is to grab any internet connected device anywhere on planet Earth, phone, tablet, PC, Mac. Just point the browser to youtube.com/CFRN. Pretty easy to remember. Not only do we broadcast live every trading day on our YouTube channel, we also archive each and every daily broadcast. Currently, there are well over 12,100 daily live broadcasts archived for your educational and viewing pleasure. If you're new to the world of CFRN, it's one of the fastest ways to get to know who we really are. Because anybody can say anything today, but through the power of the internet and YouTube, you can find out what we were saying 6 weeks ago, 6 months ago, a year ago, 2 years ago, even more. What I want you to find is that thread of continuity, that thread of connectivity that flows through each and every daily broadcast. Because everything we do, everything we say, everything we teach, and the indicators we provide are all built on the underlying principles of which markets operate. Principles that have been in existence since the inception of the markets and will remain in existence till the markets cease to exist. So that's why we haven't changed anything. If it's not broke, leave it alone. And so far things are working out real good. So, with that said, we're going to open the word of prayer as we do. Now, we have a different topic each week, but we've actually spent 2 weeks, we're going to wrap it up tomorrow, on the topic of fear. Why would we devote 2 entire weeks to such a topic? Because fear is one of the greatest tools the enemy has. And nothing creates more fear in me than to hear someone else in a macho fashion say, I ain't afraid of nothing. Shiver me timbers. That's just not true. So, our scripture today, Matthew 11:28 through 30, reading from the Message translation. Are you tired, worn out, burned out on religion? But let me just add, religion, the definition of religion is a return to bondage. If you want to do a word search back into the original Greek and Hebrew. Okay, so let me continue with the scripture. Are you tired, worn out, burned out on religion? Come to me. Get away with me, and you'll recover your life. I'll show you how to take a real rest. Walk with me and work with me. Watch how I do it. Learn the unforced rhythms of grace. I won't lay anything heavy or ill-fitting on you. Keep company with me, and you'll learn to live freely and lightly. Now, those words, as recorded by Matthew, were spoken by Jesus. We spend, as humans, more time regretting the past and worrying about the future than we do focusing on the current moment in time. If we could know the outcome of our entire lives, would we really want to know? Some would say yes, because they're anxious about what's going to occur. And that's understandable. But we don't have to know what's ahead if we know God. We can rest in the future that He has for us because He loves us so much. Now I'm going to interject a little something here that has to do with the markets. So many websites and emails that you get are from vendors who pretend to know with certainty what's going to happen next in the markets. I assure you, no man, no machine, no indicator, oscillator, or algorithm knows with certainty what's going to happen in the future. Now, I'm not going to dive deep on that, but if you want to book a one-on-one mentoring session, I'll break it down for you, and it won't cost you a dime. And I don't need your credit card number or your mother's maiden name. You see, in the world of trading, professional traders admit they don't know what's going to happen next. But through their methodology and strategy, they are able to determine what the next high probability move is with a very high degree of certainty. So enough of that, let's pray. Join with me. Heavenly Father, death has no victory or sting. Thank you, Lord, for the victory you give us through our Lord Jesus Christ. We won't fear the future because we trust in you. We'll live by faith and not by sight. We come to you, Jesus, for your yoke is easy and your burden is light. And we know that you will provide rest for our souls. Help us cast all of our anxiety and fears on you, because you care so much for us. Give us strength to stay the course in doing good, for at the proper time we'll reap a harvest if we don't give up. And nothing and no thing can separate us from your perfect love. Not death, nor life, nor angels, nor demons, not the present, not the future, nor any other power. For we are secure in your love. It's in Jesus' name we believe and pray. And everybody said,
Amen.
Amen. All right, let me give you the numbers from around the world. Starting here in the U.S. with cash markets, or the indices as they're called. And then we'll go to Michael to get a recap of everything that happened in the live training room this morning. All right, the Dow currently up 926 points, almost 3%. NASDAQ up 625 points, 6%. S&P 500 up 169 points, 4.5%. And the Russell 2000 up 104 points. Don't remember the last time the Russell broke 100 points. Almost 6%. Now, I won't deny the bullishness of what's in front of our eyes right now. But I want to caution you that this may be one of the greatest head fakes in the making we've ever seen. This is a knee-jerk reaction to what happened yesterday. Okay? So, perhaps I'm wrong. Perhaps I'm not. Doesn't matter. I'm going to trade what's in front of me. And so today, with all the markets green, I'm going to be looking to the long side. But don't bet the farm on the long side. Not just yet. In the commodity basket, crude oil up $1.44, trading 87.27 last, a gain of 1 3/4%. Gold up $37.90, trading 17.5160 last, a gain of over 2%. Silver up 32 cents, trading 21.65 last, a gain of 1.5%. In the Asian markets at the close, Nikkei down 270 points or 1%. Shanghai down 12. Hang Seng down 277, almost 2%. And in the European markets at the close, FTSE up 79, 1%. The DAX up 479, 3.5%. And the CAC up 126, almost 2%. So that gave us a red day in Asia, a green day in the UK. And so far, it's a big green Radio Thursday here in the US of A. So let's go to Michael, get a recap of what happened in the live training room this morning. After that, I'll be back. We'll look at the logic alerts, the concierge trade alerts, and at any point during the broadcast, if you have a question, type it in the question box. We'll be happy to answer it for you. Michael, I can see your charts.
Excellent. All right. Here we go. Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Thursday. Reminder partners meeting tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Today is Thursday, the 10th day of November, 2022. All right. Now, if you have not taken a free trial with us, go here to mytradingiq.com, and right here it says grab a seat for 5 days of trading and training. Click on that, and you're going to be brought to this page, right? Oops, nope, not that page. This page. Fill this page out, and you'll be sent everything you need. You'll be sent the links and everything you need to get into the room in the morning. Now, the room runs 9:30 to 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time every single business day. if you are going to get into the room, you should download your charting platform right here, right? Choose whichever platform you want and send us the information that you're going to need to send us. We'll know that you downloaded the platform when you ask for the information or when you give us the information, right? Because per like DT Pro, we're going to need to know that you download the platform so we can get your ID for you. For TradingView, you're going to need to give us your profile name. And for NinjaTrader, you're going to need to give us your machine ID, right, to get everything working. So we will know. The trade handout, these are the rules for the trade setups. You should all take a look at these. This is what I'm going to be following trade after trade after trade in the room in the morning, right? And the videos, these are videos of me actually following those rules, placing trade after trade after trade, right? And that's it. Now, results. We had a pretty good day again today. Yeah, I'll get into it, but there was a lot of activity. There was one period where it was a little mixed up, but we got through that. But anyway, if you're going to read the spreadsheet, you got to read the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. Today's the 10th day of November, 2022. So tomorrow will be 11/11/22. And today we made 7 ticks in gold, 39 ticks in crude, and 58 ticks on the ES. That put us up $1,185 on the morning session. Today took 8 minutes and 3 trades to get to the goal for the day. At that point today, we were up $137.50, and we took a total of 28 trades this morning. So on the month now, we're at $9,785 a contract. That is over 8 trading days, averaging $1,223 per contract per 2-hour trading day. On the year, we've gotten our goal every day, 214 out of 214 days that I traded, and we've gone 275 days now since my last negative day in the room. And that puts us on the year at $217,613 on the year, averaging $1,016 per contract per 2-hour business day. Yeah. Over here now, if you were to quit trading when you get your goal for the day and you were to add 1 contract per month, that means you'd be trading 11 contracts right now. You got to earn your way to that next contract every month, though. So far this year, you would have had to work 34.13 hours, right? And you would have averaged $4,785 per hour, right? $4,785 per hour. And that's it, guys. Now, this $4,785 per hour, I know that number seems ridiculous to you, but it's not just like 1 hour in one day where you sit down and say, okay, I'm going to work 1 hour one day and make $4,785. So far this month, we worked 46 minutes getting the goal. Right here, 46 minutes so far. We work getting the goal. And in those 46 minutes with 11 contracts on, you would currently be at $10,862. So that's even better than $4,785 an hour. That's for the 46 minutes that we work so far. All right. Now, it can happen. It can happen to you. All right. Let's get into the actual trades. All right. Most of the trades were on the ES today. The other two were spread out pretty evenly. So I'll just start with gold and we'll work our way across. Oh, wait, before I do that, I wanted to just dovetail into what Dwayne had said earlier about this being a huge head fake. Look at this. Look at this candle. I didn't even know this happened this morning. When I got into the room, we were working on this candle right here. And I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know that. I looked back to 30 minutes. I was like, wow. So then I was expecting a retracement of it. And I said, no, I don't know if it's going to retrace. And if it doesn't retrace, then we got to change our expectations. Because originally I thought it was going to retrace back to about right here. Then it just kept going up. Now, Dwayne said about the head fake. And I'm going to show you what happened the last time, which wasn't that long ago, that we had almost the same thing. It was just last week, as a matter of fact. Here it is. Right here, just last week. Okay. And we came up to just about the same place. Let me back this out a little bit more. See it? It's right here. There's a lot of sellers right here, guys. A lot of sellers. See how quick it went down? I would anticipate that. Right now, Jack, I don't know if you're listening right now, but I'd be looking at puts right now. As a matter of fact, all of you guys, I'd be looking at put options right now. Yeah, this, whatever the reasoning was this morning that made it go like that, I think there was a news event that came out at 8:30. Packed on some irrational exuberance. Yeah, that's gonna come back down. And look what happened the last time. Came all the way back down and then had a little overrun. and then it slowly worked its way back up, and it failed on the way back up. So this is not a strong market here. It's a strong day so far, but not a strong market. That is just my opinion. You guys, I'm sure, have all of your own. But let's start out with the gold. Okay, this right here was a woo spot that I identified this morning for everybody in the room. And I had to explain what a woo spot was. All right, so I missed this trade here, and that would have gotten us the gold, but I missed it. I grabbed this one. Actually, I missed that one too. Then I picked up this one. On this trade on gold, that trade there, I ended up with 25 ticks. Now I put the trade on, but I forgot I put it on. And later on, this was a few minutes later, I came back and I looked over and I said, oh, well, there was a trade here. And I highlighted it with an ellipse. I said, there was a trade there. And then it started pulling back over here. And I said, I was looking for another trade when it was in here. I was looking for another opportunity to get into it. And I looked at my DOM and I was already in it. So I was in it from over here, right? It worked out perfectly that was my entry point. And so I missed all this up and all this down. And right over here is where I was looking at it again. And so I took 25 ticks on that one. I ended up missing both of these next two, and I got a break even on that right off of red right there. Now, right in here is where I thought this was going to go up to, and I explained to everybody in the room how, because it failed right here, this might be a turning point. And it turned out to be a pretty good turning point. Now, I got a break even on this blue off of blue right here. I had a couple of ticks on that one, right? 4. I got the 24 on that. Break even. Looks like another break even, then another 4 there that got me to 33. No, 37. I went 25 to 29 to 33 to 37. So I had 4 tick trades in a row. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, but when this was happening, I saw it going down in here. I had this number here is my target number, and then when it started to go again, I shorted it up here right off of red, and I trailed my stop a little too close. I got out with 4 ticks profit, but then I saw this window of opportunity right here, this woo spot, and I brought it back here to look at it, and then I was saying, I think I drew all the way down here, 47.2. I don't know if it ever went down there, but that was what I was looking for when it started to really move down. So after that 4 tick trade and that 4 tick trade, it did go down to 47.2, and it pretty much bounced off of 47.2. Right, I didn't notice that at the end of the room this morning. During the break, it really didn't give anything. 1 long trade right here. That's about a blue off a blue. You probably taking blue off blue there, and 1 long trade right there. And that was it for the morning session. Not the morning session, for the gold for the morning session. The crude oil, and the stop out on crude, it looks like. My first trade on crude was right here. I picked up 4 ticks on that one. Then I stopped out right there. I'm not sure that that's right. Okay, then I stopped out right there, and that put me at -6. Then I picked up, looks like it must have been 16 ticks there to go to 10. No, I did something else in here. I think I missed a trade somewhere in there, and I got that. It didn't put me at -6, it put me at 0. Then here I picked up 12 ticks on that. Did I? And the next one I picked up 5 ticks to get me to 17. Then a break even. And then I stopped out to put me at 7. Yeah, that's about right. Okay. So that was what I did. I didn't miss too many trades here in crude this morning. There just weren't that many in crude this morning. The ones that they were pretty good, and they're doing pretty much what they should do. But you see how it was just like a slow grind up right in here, but it was a grind up nevertheless. Right, there was a blue off a blue there, a blue off a blue there. There was a trend line trade there, the trend line trade here, the trend line trade here. That would have stopped you out. Followed up by another trend line trade right here. That would have made it back. So that was all during the break. There were a couple of blue off of blues during the break right there, and that was it as far as blue off of blue and red off of red go. But I ended up with just +7 on crude this morning. Okay, now the ES was our big winner today, and it was doing really well as far as showing information and then going to the information that it was showing. Now right here, I missed this right here right at the very beginning. And then my first trade on the ES was right here. I picked up 7 ticks on that first one. I had to break even. Then I picked up 4 ticks to get me to 11. Then right here, it looks like I got 9 ticks. No, I got 19 ticks. 19 ticks right there to get me to 30. I missed that. I had 19 there to get me to 30. Then I stopped out, put me down to 20. Then I picked up 12 to get me to 32 right there. And then I went from 32 to 52, so I had 20 right there. And I missed that follow-up trade, that follow-up trade, and that follow-up trade. This one would have stopped out. Let me highlight that one too, so you don't think I'm not doing it. That would have stopped out to the tick. And then it was followed up by both of those, which would have made it back, and then some. I did take this one that stopped out, though. So I went from 52 down to 42 right there. I had a break even, another break even. And I went from 42 to 54, so I had a 12-tick trade, then another break even. Then I went from 54 to 58 right there. Actually, I think I know I missed something in here on the ES because I went from 54 to 58. I think that was there, and I think I missed this, which was a 10-tick trade or a 12-tick trade. But anyway, a 4-tick trade there. Went from 54 to 58. So I really think we ended up with 70 because I ended up with a break even right there. If I come over here and look at currency. Yeah. Anyway, I ended up with more than I actually show here, but it doesn't really matter. The spreadsheet is right. The spreadsheet's not going to get changed anyway. During the break, there was a bounce off the BBC right here, and a bounce off the BBC right here. Blew off a blue. Okay, and that's it. And that was it for the morning session. So I ended up with 58 ticks is what I say over there. Now, it was actually more than 58, but that's okay. The spreadsheet, back to this. If you're going to read the spreadsheet, you got to read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. Today is the 10th day of November, 2022. We made 7 ticks in crude, 39 ticks in gold, and I put down 58 on the ES, so I think it was 70. That put us at $1,185 on the morning session. Today it took 8 minutes and 3 trades to get to the goal for the day. At that point, I was up 137.50, and I took a total of 28 trades this morning. So on the month now, I'm at $9,785 a contract. That's over 8 trading days, averaging $1,223 per contract per 2-hour trading day. On the year, I've got my going 214 out of 214 possible days, and I've gone 275 days now since my last negative day in the room. And that puts us at $217,613 on the year. So over 214 days, averaging $1,016 per contract per 2-hour business day. All right. So if you were to quit trading when you got your goal for the day, and you were to add 1 contract per month, so far this year you would have had to work 34.13 hours, and you would have averaged $4,785 per hour for those 47.85 hours. For those 34.13 hours. I'm sorry, 34.13 hours. And you would have 34.13 hours. You would have made $163,350. Not bad for a week of work. All right. If you have not gotten into the free trial yet and you want to, go here to mytradingiq.com. Right here it says grab a seat for 5 days of trading and training. Click on that and you'll be brought to this page. Fill out this little form and you'll be sent a link to get into the next session prior to the next session every single business day until you cancel. Okay. All right, D, if you are ready, you can take it back to fabulous Phoenix, Arizona in Studio A overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. And there he is. Dwayne is ready.
Yes, sir.
Perfect.
Recap of the recap.
Today, it took 8 minutes and 3 trades to get to 137.50.
Does that mean you guys stopped out on the first 2 trades, or?
No.
No.
I think I had a smaller gain I had a smaller gain on crude. I had 4 ticks on crude, and then 7 ticks on the ES is what I got. And then I had 1 break even.
Okay.
That's how it worked out.
So guys, I want you to really think about that. You know, even if your goal is just 2 points a day in the S&P, or 10 ticks in crude, or 10 ticks in gold, you don't have to get it all in one trade. As Mark Douglas said in Trading in the Zone, pay yourself as the market makes money available. In fact, the 24/20 blueprint clearly shows you how, even if it takes you 10 trades a day in the S&P 500, after commissions, you're still profitable on the day. And that's factoring in a $5.85 round term commission, which I know some of you pay less, and if you're paying more, you need to call 866-928-3310. You'll speak with Bert, and he'll show you how to come out of the Stone Age, the Stone X Financial.
There you go.
There you go. All
The new tagline.
Good stuff. Okay. All right. There was something else I was going to say. Oh, yeah. I'm going to say it. I remember. A few weeks ago, I posted a question in the Breeze discussion channel in Telegram, which, by the way, that's a channel that's open to the public. And I said, what natural resource is the world most in danger of running out of? And the most common answer was water. However, depending on where you live, it probably rains once a week. So that's a renewable resource, right? But when's the last time you saw it rain sand? That's the correct answer to the question. The world is running out of sand. And I encourage you to go to Planet Money and listen to their most recent podcast, which talks about the issue in depth, why it's happening, what's going on. And you might think, sand? Well, come on, I don't do sand. I beg to differ. That glass of beer you had, or that bottle of beer you had last night, was made with sand. The computer you're using right now with microchips, sand. And not all sand is created equal. Some sand is too smooth, other sand is too gritty. So I just threw that in as a freebie. So we'll move on from there. But anyway, good job this morning, Michael. Now, let me put you where I want you to be. Right here, right now. Okay. That's not where I want you to be. Where do I want you to be? Oh, you to be right here. Hang on. Okay. We have this little thing called Logic 247 for our traders. Okay? We launched this 223 weeks ago. Now, with 52 weeks in a year, this isn't the latest thing to come down the pipeline. This isn't a new shiny object. It's established an incredible track record by the grace of God. I'm just a high school graduate. I'm just some disembodied voice on the internet. Okay? There's much more at work here. Now, since we launched, after the beta test, when we officially launched Logic 247, since then, we've issued over 12,000, or right at 12,300 individual handcrafted alerts. Which means when you become a passport holder, Michael and Valerie not only spend 2 hours every trading day teaching you how to trade, we also give you trades around the clock with an entry, with an initial target, quite often multiple targets, and then a final trade to target. Now the Globex markets open not Monday morning at 9:30 a.m. Eastern like the stock market. Globex futures open Sunday night at 6 p.m. Eastern and remain open until Friday afternoon at 5 p.m. Eastern. There is a 1-hour break each day, and so we're in the Thursday session, which reminds me tonight is members only workshop. So if you've been on the trial and you want to be in the private workshop tonight, you need to go to eminifuturestrading.com, get your passport, so that Valerie has time to send you an invitation to be in that workshop. Okay, so since the market opened Sunday night at 6 p.m. Eastern, now I think I dropped my thought. It's the Thursday session until 5 p.m. Eastern today. Stock market closes at 4 p.m. Eastern, but futures continue to 5 p.m. Eastern. Then there's a 1-hour break. Got to sweep the floors, empty the ashtrays. And then tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern, that is the beginning of the Friday session, even though it's still Thursday night here in the U.S. Since the markets open Sunday night, we've issued 77 alerts total. 18 never triggered. We're still waiting on the outcome of 6. We've had 53 actionable alerts, of which 8 or 15% would have been stopped out based on not risking more than $300 per contract per trade, less when possible, using market structure and a very simple 3-step process that we teach all of our passport holders in our one-on-one private mentoring sessions. Okay? Now the hallmark of a good week, based on what I just said, is that this number needs to be 20% or less. This number needs to be 1/3 or less of this number. So if we take 6 and multiply it times 3, that'd be 18. So well below this number. So this is, again, by the grace of God, a great week. Now, because I've issued 77 total alerts since the markets opened Sunday night, the chance or probability of you being able to trade each and every one of those alerts is, well, to use a word, impossible. Or I should say, probably impossible. Okay. So we're dealing in averages here because this is a business based on probabilities. Okay. Now you might be the person that says, oh, I have the dumbest luck, you know. The percentage for the week is so great, and I've managed to pick every losing trade. Why is that? I mean, really, why is that? You need to dissect your criteria for taking a trade. You need to bring up in conversation tonight in the members only discussion group what your hurdles are, where your problems lie, so that we can help you. Every Thursday I say, members, come to the workshop with questions in hand. Okay? Now the workshop doesn't start until 9 p.m. Eastern, which isn't so bad for me because that's only 7 p.m. my time. Before daylight savings time ended, it was 6 p.m. Eastern. Okay? So Thursday nights are where we put it all on the table. Nobody sees what you type except myself, Michael, and Valerie. Bert typically doesn't attend the workshops. In the live training room, no one sees what you type. Valerie, Michael, and myself, and Bert, because he usually is there, and I'm often not there, okay? So you don't ever have to be shy about admitting you don't understand something that was just said or done. That's the whole purpose of the live training room, so that you can ask every question that comes to your mind and get an answer live in real time. How many times have you been reading a book about trading and you came across an important concept and you thought to yourself, man, I wish I could ask the author what he really meant by this? Or watched the YouTube video, and what appeared to be an important concept was covered or discussed, but you didn't really understand it. Man, what if I could have a one-on-one conversation with the guy that made this video? I mean, of course, you can type into the comment section, and you might or might not get an answer. But what if you could have a one-on-one dialogue with that individual? You see, that's what our members get. They get 2 hours of live training every day in live markets, with our trader taking off trades live in real time, while you trade in sim, while you qualify to go live, while you ask questions, and our trader answers your questions live in real time as it's happening. There's no better learning model. Okay? Now, because we know some people are shy or feel embarrassed to voice their questions, even though nobody else sees it but staff, we give you 2 hours. Not 2 hours. 2 hours is the trading room. We give you, as a passport holder, unlimited, one-on-one, private mentoring. What does that mean, unlimited? It means if you book a mentoring session today with me, I'll show up. If you book a mentoring session with me tomorrow, I'll show up. If you book a mentoring session with me next Thursday, I'll show up. Same goes with Michael, or Valerie, or Bert. Unlimited really does mean unlimited. Many people, well, at least one person in our audience today has lost more money than what it costs to become a passport holder. Really? Really? Now, I know that you spend a lot of time, if you're new to the world of trading, you spend time and treasure trying to find the Holy Grail, which cannot exist because that defies the laws of physics, science, God, and reality. Okay? You've lost more today than what lifetime membership costs. When you become a passport holder, there's no recurring fees. There's no upsells. There's no new shiny objects to buy. The passport is your all-access pass to everything we do, everything we've ever done, and whatever we do in the future. As of today. Could that change tomorrow? It could. We could raise the price. We could say now there's an annual fee, but we haven't. And so, this isn't some hard sell. I'm just stating a fact. At some point, as with all businesses, their business model changes over time. And so, right now, if you become a lifetime member, you will have lifetime access, not only to the training room, but to the unlimited one-on-one mentoring, to our strategy. You'll own the indicator set for life. And you'll receive 24/7 around-the-clock support via our Telegram channel if you observe the rules of the road, which means everyone treats each other with dignity and respect. Since 2008, only 2 people have been removed from the discussion group. Only 2 since 2008. That's a lot, okay? So, obey the rules of the road, because we want to help everybody. We are a community of believers who trade for a living so that we can fund the ministry that God created us for. And you might say, well, I'm no minister. No, not everybody's called to be a preacher or even a teacher. But we're all called and created to do something for the kingdom of God. On Saturday, I'll be at a big church in Phoenix called Pilgrim's Rest. And we'll be packaging up meal boxes for the homeless. See, homeless have a unique problem. It's not that there's not enough food to go around. There's more than enough food on planet Earth to feed every person on planet Earth. Distribution is the issue. And so we'll be packaging up for 5 hours on Saturday. And I invite anyone in the Phoenix area to come. Please join us, volunteer. Pilgrim's Rest. Google it, you'll find it. There's a part you can play, a service you can do, a ministry you can support in God's kingdom. You just got to ask Him, what do you want me to do? I didn't go looking for this Pilgrim's Rest thing. But my godson / grandson from Uganda, Little D, as part of the online high school he attends, Hope High, he was given the opportunity, and we were invited to come along and help. Now, over the course of 5 hours, we'll package a lot of meals. One of the problems homeless folks have is that if you give them food that needs to be refrigerated, well, they don't have a refrigerator. If you give them food that needs to be cooked, they have no way to cook it. It's illegal to start a fire in a city park or behind a bus stop. You see the dilemma there? So, whoever you are, wherever you are, look for what God created you to do. And it may, you'll go from one level to the next level, to the next level, to the next level. Okay? But now that you have found Christ, now that Jesus is your Savior, not only are you called to spread the good news, but to help those less fortunate. Now, when you got a lot of money in the bank, it's easy to write a check. Okay? In fact, if you write a big enough check, you might have a benefit dinner in your honor, where all the world gets to see what you've done. And important people show up and pat you on the back and shake your hand. But the scripture says if you do it that way, you've already received your reward. There's no heavenly reward awaiting you. Huh? That which is done in secret will be rewarded in secret by your Heavenly Father. So, okay, I've already blown my Saturday by telling people I'll be there, but I want you to come, okay? And you don't have to tell anybody, right? You don't have to broadcast it around the world. Give it some thought. And if you're not in the Phoenix area, I bet you there's some kind of opportunity where you live this weekend that you can help people. Now, a lot of people go, the homeless, they're just all drug addicted or insane. Sadly, That's true for a very large percentage. Doesn't mean we can't help them. But with rising interest rates, a lot of people, and rising rental rates, a lot of people who were economically stable a year ago can no longer make their mortgage payment. They're perfectly sane, they're not addicted to drugs, they don't have a problem with drinking. And here they are, with their family, living in a tent in some city park, or what most cities call tent city. They have areas set aside. Here's my whole point. You can make a difference. You, by God's grace, can be a part of the solution and not just complain about the problem. Because we all tend to do that. I doggone homeless people everywhere they go, they make a mess, they throw the trash on the ground. Yeah, sadly that's true. Okay, but let's stop focusing on the problem and set our minds on a solution. Now, I said all that to go back to this. This week, if you just followed this, you might not be in tall cotton, but you'd at least be in medium-high cotton. But in order to follow what we teach, in order to follow the 24/20 blueprint, guess what you need? Something we can't give you. Patience and self-discipline. Guess who can give you that? God. If you ask Him. Which brings me to my final point before we move on. How many times does somebody say, I have this situation, blah, blah, blah. Will you pray for me? Oh yeah, brother, I'll keep you in my prayers. Or how many times do we say to somebody, I have this situation in my life, please pray for me and my family? And they go, oh, no problem, man. You got it. I want you to change your vernacular. When somebody tells you they got a situation or problem, I don't want you to say, I'm going to pray for you. I want you to say, I'm going to talk to God about your situation. And when you have a problem or a situation, I don't want you to just pray some prayer that you found out of some prayer book. I want you to actually talk to God. He listens and He answers. It's that small, still voice that we often want to discount as, oh, that can't be God because that's not what I wanted to hear. That's when you know you've probably just stumbled across the truth. Whereas the enemy will kick in your front door and try to take over your life, Jesus is a gentleman. He stands at the door of your heart and knocks. And you see, when you start not just praying, but actually talking to God, there's an incredible shift. Because if you pray to an unseen God, that's one thing. But if you have a conversation with the living God, you don't have to move your lips, okay? Having a conversation with God, that means that you believe He really exists. It means that you believe He has the power to change your situation and your circumstance. See, that's faith, which we talked about last week, versus fear, which we've been talking about now for 2 weeks. We've got to overcome the fear so we can have the faith. And trading brings a lot of fear. Because when you save up a nest egg to become a trader, and it starts to rapidly dissipate again, who wouldn't be frightened? Who wouldn't be gripped with fear? But the good news is you never have to trade alone again. You can be surrounded by a community of believers who will not backstab you, compete with you, dish you, but encourage you, as long as you follow the rules of the road. It's pretty simple. The rules of the road are this: treat everybody with dignity and respect. Dignity and respect is a two-way street. All right. If I haven't said it, the logic alerts are issued around the clock, because futures trade around the clock, and we have traders around the world, and they're based on current price action. Now, current price action means when a logic alert comes out, you don't have to trip over your feet to get over there and trade it. I intentionally build in time for you to study the alert, study the chart, so that over a period of time you begin to understand and see for yourself windows of opportunity, obstacles to your trade. That's why logic alerts have an entry, long or short, and then an initial target, and then whether it's a long or short trade, the next target will be potential resistance or potential support. Okay. How do I divine that? Crystal ball? No. I look left. I can teach you how to look left. And every time you see potential resistance, if you look left, you'll see it. On a short trade, if you look left, wherever it says potential support, you'll see it. See, we're not trying to keep some secret here. That's not our game at all. Our business is helping you to become a self-sufficient trader, so that you never again at some point need a man or woman to tell you when to get in or when to get out. But you look at the chart, and the chart tells you where you have a window of opportunity. And even when you get really, really good at finding these windows of opportunity, the last 223 weeks show us that on average, 20% of the time you're going to get stopped out because the order flow changes. All right, enough preaching. I don't preach very often, but somebody out there needed that. Let's go to the concierge trade alerts. That's our original alert service. And they're different in a number of ways. Number one, they're posted once per session, and the numbers are good for the entire session. Once an alert triggers, there's a greater probability of it triggering multiple times and not triggering multiple times, except when we have an incredibly strong directional day. And as I said, you can go to youtube.com/CFRN, and you can see the recap of the CTAs, not only from today, but yesterday and the day before, 6 weeks ago, 6 months ago, a year ago, 2 years ago, even more. Okay? Nothing's changed. Nothing has changed. And that's so important, because so many new traders fail because every time they step up to the plate, they change their swing. And if it doesn't work one time, trash it. If it works one time, stay with it for life till you go broke. Some days the markets go up, some days they go down. Some days they move slow, some days they move fast. Sometimes there's high volatility, some days there's low volatility. You have to become the constant integer in the equation. Last night at 6:20 p.m., these were posted. I'm sure you don't trade all these markets, but we try to take care of all of our members who trade all these markets. So whatever market you trade, let's say you just trade the ES. What you want to do when this is published in the CTA channel at 6:20 p.m. last night is you want to first make note of where price is at that moment in time. Then you want to go draw a line in the sand on your 30-minute chart at 37.94. Draw another line in the sand at 37.47. And price at this point in time is in the middle of these two numbers. If price starts trending up towards 37.94, that's bullish. So our strategy will look for opportunities to be along the market. On the other hand, if price starts trending down towards 37.47, that's bearish. So our strategy will, by nature, look for opportunities to be short the market. In either case, that's where you use Logic 247, which is based on current price action, and everything you learn in the live training room every single trading day. To yourself, find opportunities to be long or short the market based on the criteria that we lay out. Okay? We're going to go to the charts. If you want to take a screenshot, grab it now. If you remember, you have access to this channel. If you're on a trial, you have access to these numbers. But if, again, the afternoon broadcast is open to the public, so if you don't have access to the numbers that were issued last night at 6:20 p.m., here you go. Okay, everybody got them? Great. Let's do this. We shall start with the daily chart, where we always start. Why? Well, I'll tell you why. Because institutional traders, the hedge funds, the Goldman Sachs of the world, they look at daily, weekly, and monthly charts the way you and I look at 30-minute charts, 5-minute charts, tick charts, and range charts. Why? Well, typically our accounts are denominated in thousands of dollars or maybe tens of thousands of dollars. But their accounts, which actually move price in the marketplace, are denominated in hundreds of millions and in many cases billions of dollars. So they can withdraw a much deeper drawdown than you or I can. And they can stay with a profitable position far longer than you and I would be comfortable with. So whether you trade gold, or crude, or silver, or the euro, Apple or Google, Bitcoin, or the British pound, I urge you, every time you sit down to trade, take 2 minutes to look at the daily chart. See which way the institutional wind is blowing. Okay, we knew as price rose, if it rose, and this is a knee-jerk reaction to what happened yesterday. So this may become one of the most powerful head fakes we've seen since this one. Okay, there was a huge green candle. There was a dated glitch. It didn't get printed, but hopefully on your chart it'll show up. So anyway, where did price find resistance? To the tick at the 38% reverse fib of the entire downtrend. And once it touched it, what did it do? It backed off. It backed off and is now below the 50% reverse fib of the last leg down. Nothing we do is a secret. We're an open book. Everything is based on logic. Now, there's a little boy or a little girl in all of us that loves magic. I mean, even, you know, look how old you are. When you watch Penn and Teller, people go to Vegas to watch Penn and Teller. Why? Because it's incredible to see what appears to be magic, but Penn and Teller will be the first to tell you it's not really magic, it's illusion. And so much of what you're told and sold in the marketplace today when it comes to trading is exactly that, illusion. Because there is no magic, but there is logic. And everything we do, teach, and offer is built on logic. The underlying principles of which markets operate, no matter what market, whether it's futures, individual stocks, crypto, or forex, no matter if it's a 1 minute chart or a monthly chart. Price flows from support to resistance, back to support, back to resistance, over and over, again and again. It's a never-ending cycle. Now, I know you've been told a whole lot of stuff over the years, and told a whole lot of different miracle, holy grail cures. Those things do not teach you how to trade. And that's our goal. If you're looking for magic, if you're looking for overnight riches, don't waste your time or money here, because you'll find neither. What you will find are a small group of people who have dedicated their lives to helping other people learn how to trade. And I don't just mean our staff, I mean our members. In the discussion group, our members freely exchange their thoughts, their ideas, their trades, their charts, based upon what we teach. We don't entertain bizarro ideas that have cost people tons of money over the past, okay? I mean, what do you want? Do you want your leg pulled again? And your account blown up? And your PayPal account drained? Or do you want to learn a life skill that will follow you all the days of your life? Because trading is more than just money. Trading is about freedom. I could pick up today and go to Hawaii, broadcast this show, and trade. I could go to Ecuador, broadcast this show, and trade. I could go to Tokyo, I could go to Singapore, I could go to New York City. It doesn't matter, because of this thing called the internet. Now, wherever you go, you do need a reliable, fast, low latency internet connection. Okay? But as long as you got that, you can become the nomad you've always dreamed of being. Maybe I'll take a cruise next week, and I don't know, next month maybe I'll hike up, you know, some mountain. I don't know. It's up to you. There's freedom in futures. But first, you got to do the work to learn how to trade. And Michael and I and Valerie now and Bert have spent years making it as simple as we possibly can. It will never be easy, but it can be simple if you have the patience and self-discipline to wait for the high probability, low risk trade opportunities. So we obviously know where resistance is today, just above where we found resistance on November 1st. Today's high, 39.35.75. As you can see on this daily candle, we're off the high of the day. Okay? Big question becomes, where do we close? Ooh, I wish I hadn't done that. I guess I'll have to straighten that out later. I meant to grab this and point out that. That's going to haunt me. I'll probably just redo the whole chart by tomorrow. Nothing will have changed other than I'll know that my lines are where they should be. Oh, I see right here the fix. Okay. Everything should be here. Everything should be as it just was before I fat fingered my chart. Now that's a big bullish candle. Okay, it took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 trading days, and then in one day, boom. Now, I said earlier this could be one of the biggest head fakes you ever saw in your life. But it may not, because I don't know what's going to happen next. I don't have crystal balls. I can't see the future. I have to trade what's in front of me. But by looking at the daily chart every day, I know where my obstacles are. And look at this obstacle. Yeah, we spiked it a little bit, but it held. And then we know where the next obstacle is, and the next obstacle, and the next obstacle, and the next obstacle. On the supported side, lower today and yesterday, and then this low, this low, this low, and these lines right here. Followed by this low, and the low of the downturn. It's not rocket science, you know. You might think, well, I don't really have a math mind. You know, I don't think as quick. I'm not as fast on my feet as those guys, so I can't do that. Not true. If you come to the live trading room and you find the 7-tick range, keep in mind we used to use a 4-tick range before the volatility got so great. So we went to a 7-tick range. But if you're relatively new to the world of trading, the 7-tick range might seem a little fast for you. Guess what? You could change that to an 8-tick range, or a 9-tick range, or a 10-tick range, or an 11-tick range, or a 12-tick range, or a 5-minute chart. Because our strategy and indicators flow the same across all markets and all time frames. So you find the time frame that you're comfortable with, spend enough time with it, and you'll become the master of your domain. Which is an old Seinfeld throwback that some of you may get and some of you may not, but let's move on. Okay? S&P. The vertical line, this is the 30-minute chart. This is what all alerts are built on. Okay? The vertical line separates today, Thursday, from yesterday, Wednesday. Where did the market find resistance on Tuesday and Monday? On Tuesday and Wednesday? At the zone. Where do they find support? At the zone. Until they finally drop to the next zone. and found support. Only 3 things happen at a weekly trading zone. Consolidation, 70% of the time. Rejection, 20% of the time. The slice, 10% of the time. Only 3 things can happen. We've published the weekly zones since December 14th of 2009. Have we changed anything in the formula that creates them? Nope. Have we changed anything in the way that we use them as part of our trading strategy? No. Back to, if it's not broke, leave it alone. I've seen traders with perfectly good edges. But the problem is they tried to put an edge on the edge, and then an edge on that edge, and an edge on that edge, and they had nothing. Okay? If you find something, whatever it is, if it's not us, if it's something else, if it's rolling dice or flipping a coin or whatever, if you can consistently take 2 points out of the S&P every day, or the equivalent in any other market, you're golden. Because over time, your account size will grow, and you'll be able to afford additional contracts. 2 points in the S&P with 1 contract's $100. But those same 2 points with 10 contracts is $1,000 a day. Most of us in this audience could, pay our bills and do okay with that kind of money. And if not, you need to check some kind of debt consulting agency, because 2 points a day on 10 contracts puts you in the top 3% of wage earners worldwide. And most, my grandson, godson, is visiting me from Uganda. Last night over dinner, we were talking about stuff. And let me just pause a moment and say this. The family dinner table is one of the most important places in your home. If you don't sit down and eat as a family, whether it's just you and your spouse because you've grown old, the children have moved away, but especially if the children are still home, it's the one point in the day, usually dinner time, that the entire family has a chance to come together, to connect, to share their day, to ask questions, to get answers. There's a bonding. Now, let me admit, CCV, the church we attend on Saturday afternoons, because they built a new campus right up the street from us, that's their new sermon topic for the next few weeks. Room at the table. Your kids want to take their dinner and go upstairs and eat while they're playing video games. Be man or woman enough to say no. You're going to sit down with the family. Oh, they'll fight and they'll argue for the first couple nights. But eventually they'll see the benefit. And you'll see the benefit. Okay, off the soapbox. Vertical line separates today, Thursday, from yesterday, Wednesday, where the market found support at the zone, and then spent much of last evening when the markets reopened at 6 p.m. Eastern, consolidating at the zone. Remember, that's what happens 70% of the time. This right here is rejection. It was a big green candle up to the zone, it even spiked it. But when the 30-minute candle closed, price had been rejected at the zone. The third and least likely but it happens, is the slice. Price slices through a zone like it's not even there, and then it retraces to the zone it sliced through, continues in the direction of the slice, in this case right down to the next zone. But these are 30-minute candles. Think about how many hours we spent. And then all of a sudden this morning at 8:30 a.m. Eastern, there was an economic report. It was like Viagra for the markets. Boing. Look at that. Whoa. Were we ready? Yeah. The short CTA never triggered, but the long CTA did. From 37.94 to 38.10. That's 16 points at $50 a point per contract traded. You start multiplying that times 2 contracts, 3 contracts, 5 contracts, 10 contracts. You get the idea. Okay? Now, we sliced through the target. We even sliced through the next target. And we ended up putting in a high so far on the day at 39.35. So from 37.94 to 38.94. That's 100 points at $50 a point, $5,000 per contract traded. And we kept going. Now I pointed out this morning, and I posted a chart in the discussion group. Right when this hooked, okay, when the step line hooked to the right side of blue and climbing, I said, all right guys, this is significant, this is important, pay attention, and I'll talk about it on the afternoon broadcasts. And look what happened. From a high up at 39.35, once price got below the step line that crossed to the right side, we dropped from 39.21 down to 39.05. And then we rallied back up to the step line, and what happened? We got rejected so far. Okay? Now, let's say you had entered it at the trigger and you did not get out at the target, but you decided to stay with it. Now, how do I know when to get out? Once the step line crosses blue and climbing, the first red candle that closes below the step line after it crosses over becomes the official exit signal. And so this candle closed at 39.05. From 37.94 to 38.94 to 39.05. Now, I gave you the figures on one contract. You can do your own math and figure out 2 contracts, 3 contracts, 4 contracts. Our 24/20 blueprint holds you accountable. You need to put together 10 consecutive days in a row in sim before you start trading real money. And some people have a problem with that. Man, I've been trading for 10 years. Okay. How much money you made? Well, I've had some good periods. Okay. Let me rephrase the question. Since you started to today, are you net positive or net negative? Awkward silence. Negative. Okay. I don't want to hurt anybody. I want to help people. We all do. That's our goal. I mean, couldn't we just trade and go do our life? Yeah. But to whom much is given, much is required. My wife often asks me, why do you continue to go to work every day? All the headaches and stuff that you have to put up with to run that business, why do you keep doing that? The answer is simple. I believe with all of my heart that what God has called me to do is to build a community whose focus is not only learning to be profitable in the markets, but aren't just trying to get a new Ferrari or a facelift for their aging wife or cigars from Havana, maybe some breast implants, but people who have their sights set on what God really created them for. My wife and I, that was building orphanages. Doesn't mean that once we built an orphanage, we stopped there and just said, okay, we're done. We're just waiting now to go to heaven. I said earlier, I'm going Saturday to be a servant. Jesus said, I came to be a servant. If we're followers of Jesus, we want to do as best we can what Jesus did. Okay? Remember, at the Last Supper, when he knew Judas Iscariot had betrayed him for 30 lousy pieces of silver, he washed his feet. This is not an awkward pause. This is a pause for you to think about what I'm saying. Okay, so price crossed over, price dropped, buyers came in off the low of this candle. They ran us back up to the step line. Now, here's the big question. Okay, we've spiked that step line a little bit. If we overcome the high of the current candle, there's only 1 minute left in the life of this 30-minute candle. From 39.26 up to 39.31. That's what we call a window of opportunity, or in the live training room, Michael calls a woo spot. Same thing, except I'm using a 30-minute chart, he's using a 7-tick range chart. And so back to what I was talking about earlier, if that 7-tick range chart is too fast for you, okay, doesn't mean you're slow or stupid or any of that. You just haven't risen to the level where you can react that fast, that quickly. Then just change the dial. Go 10-tick range or 5-minute chart or whatever it is that makes you feel comfortable. Now, the larger the time frame you use, the more reliable it's going to be, but the more patience and self-discipline it's going to require. So it's really up to you. Okay? So, bang up day on the ES, go to the Dow, and typically the 4 major indices, the S&P, the Dow, the Russell, the NQ, almost look identical. Okay, here you go. Same scenario. Crossover, pull back, why did price stop pulling back there? Look left. If we rally up, why would price potentially stop there? Look left. Can we draw in a window of opportunity? Yes. 33,470 to 520. 470 to 520. It's 50 points, $5 a point, $250 per contract traded. Now, what if price can't move up and trigger into this window of opportunity? I'm going to show you this, but it won't show up in the Logic 247 channel. There's a counter trend opportunity right there. In the Logic 247 channel, there's over 2,300 individual handcrafted alerts, but every one of them is a trend trade as defined by the 30-minute chart, price, and the BBC, which is the green line. Okay? And as futures traders, we really don't care which way the market moves, because we have the ability to go short, long, short again, in the same hour, if that's what the chart tells us to do. I don't post counter trend opportunities in the Logic channel because they don't have the same high probability, low risk opportunity that trend trades have. Think about it. If you're out flying a kite, do you want the wind at your back or in your face? You want to swim upstream or downstream? Which is simpler? Looks like price pulled up to resistance and is now reacting off that resistance. From 32,820, we ran up to 33,025, which was the published target. Published entry, published target. Notice on the short side, price came down right to the target. And I know somebody's going to say, well, yeah, it got below the target. Okay, it did. 50 bucks. But your smaller time frame would have probably kept you out of it. But I'll own up to the fact that that only went 50 bucks. 10 points at $5 a point. We don't sweep trades that don't perform as we anticipate under the carpet. Because if you keep sweeping stuff under the carpet, you're eventually going to trip over it and hurt yourself. When you tell the truth, you don't have to worry about remembering what you said, because the truth is the truth, and guess what? The truth will set you free. I know a famous man who once said that. Man/God. Alright? So would this be an official trade in the channel? This? No. This? Yes. Because price is above the BBC. So as long as price is above the BBC, the green line, no matter what market, no matter what time frame, we anticipate higher prices. Until price gets below the BBC, then we anticipate lower prices. Okay? So this is a counter trend trade. There's nothing wrong with counter trend trading. It's not illegal, immoral, or fattening, but you would do better to learn to trade with the trend before you start trying to trade against the trend. All right. On the Russell. No trigger on the short side. And remember, these CTAs are targets first. Okay? They're targets. And then once penetrated, they become entries. Okay? Now, from 1785, the published entry to the published target. That's 11 points, $50 a point, $550 per contract traded. If you've earned the right to trade 10 contracts, this area right here is over $5 grand. 50, 5, Okay? But price kept going. Ripped through this zone, took out all this resistance, got to this zone, a little consolidation, a little pullback, and off it goes again. But look where we are. The step line has crossed, blue and climbing. Notice on the way up, and this is what I want you to learn to look for. Price, step line, blue and climbing. Or vice versa on the short side. Okay? When you've got price over here, the step line here, and then further to the right, you got blue and climbing. Man, you just got to find a spot to get in on your smaller time frame. Okay? Because this thing ran from 85 to 96. That's 11 points. That's awesome. It's a great day. But once you get a better understanding of our methodology and strategy and how to read the indicators, which is really simple, to be honest. Okay? We ran from 1785 almost to 1875, which would have been $5,000 per contract traded. So we'll just call it 4,000. Okay. Oh, if you're a 10 contract trader, that'd be 40 grand. Right here. But don't put the cart before the horse. It's awkward for both of them. You start in sim. You prove to yourself you understand the strategy because you're able to put together 10 consecutive days in a row where you reach your goal. Now, maybe you get stopped out on the first trade, stopped out on the second trade. Woe is me. I'll just come back tomorrow and try again. No, you have 10 trades available to reach your goal for the day. You can't throw in the towel after 1 or 2 stop outs, or 3 or 4. Now, if that happens to you consistently on a daily basis, you should be asking a whole lot of questions in the live training room, and most probably booking one-on-one mentoring sessions. Because the way price flows hasn't changed since the inception of the markets. Nor will it ever change until the market ceases to exist. Now, I know because of things you've been taught in the past, or read in the past, heard in the past, all the urban myths, all the nonsense, it's hard to accept that basic truth. But haven't you found over the course of your life that the simplest things are the best things? The things that stand the test of time? Only you can choose which path you take. We'll give you the knowledge, we'll give you the tools. But it's up to you and God to put together the patience and the self-discipline to not only wait for the high probability low risk trade setup, but to also work your way through the 24/20 blueprint, which teaches you how to write a business plan, teaches you how to write a trading plan, 2 distinctly different documents that 9 out of 10 new traders don't have. They don't have a teacher, they don't have a business plan, they don't have a trading plan. Is it any wonder that 9 out of 10 new traders fail? Which is why we provide you with a teacher and instructions and one-on-one mentoring to help you write your business plan and write your trading plan. Whether you choose to take advantage of those, it's up to you. It's your money, you spent it. You can either get the most out of it, or you can let it gather dust on your digital shelf like everything else you bought. But let me remind you the difference between what we offer you and everything else on your digital shelf gathering dust. This is no circus act. This is no parlor trick. This is learning how to trade. And once you learn how to trade, if me and Michael, gosh forbid, fell off the face of the earth tomorrow, next day, whatever, whenever, by law we're not allowed to fly on the same plane or ride on the same train. Just kidding, but do you follow me? We want you to be self-sufficient. Once you get it, we want you to remain a part of the community so that you can help the next new guy the way the community helped you when you were the new guy. You don't have to. A lot of our traders choose not to. They just, now they've learned how to trade, they go do their own thing. God bless them, okay? But often those people come back. I started chasing a different horse, and he didn't win. Yeah. May I be a part of the community again? Of course. We don't discriminate against anybody, except those who refuse to recognize the rules of the road, which are to treat everyone with dignity and kindness. That's what you'll find here. Whether you've never placed a trade before, or you've placed 10,000 trades, you'll be treated with dignity and respect. And the first time you aren't, I'll fix that problem. Word. Okay. Looks like we're going through the step line. So what does that tell us? We should look for a window of opportunity up here. Oh, possibly 1862 to 1867. That's 5 points. $250 per contract traded. Moving right along. NQ. Last night the market opened, price pulled down to the weekly zone, but it didn't trigger. And then we got above the BVC, and off we go. Look at all the hours we consolidated. And those were 30-minute candles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 14 hours. 14 hours where your itchy trigger finger wants to put on a trade. But you don't, because you've developed patience and self-discipline. And then all of a sudden, bang, 10,960 was the long number. The target, the published target, 10,995. That's 35 points, $20 a point, $700 per contract traded, or $7 grand, depending upon how many contracts you've earned the right to trade. And when you see price slice through a zone like that, you don't have to get out just because that's the target. We'll teach you how to stay with it until this happens. See how it's happened on every one of the indices? Step line has crossed blue and climbing. While this may not be the top, there's a high probability that we won't go higher than this. We could. It's possible. Only time will tell. Okay. Covered all the indices. Let's go to crude. Wah, wah. Crude. Crude opened here. Came down, found blue and climbing, which is support, pushed it up, got below blue and climbing, came down, triggered, took us down to 85. We'll call it 20, 100 bucks. Pull back to the BBC, which we expect to be resistance. We drop again. This time to 84.70 from 85.30 to 84.70. That's $600 per contract traded. And then we get above the BBC and we make a run up to the upside target. Now there's just oodles of room to get your goal for the day on the way up. Remember, these are targets first, entries second. From 87.05, we traveled up to 87.32. From 87.05 to 87.30, that'd be $250 per contract traded. Then we get another short trigger that takes us down to 84.95, we'll call it, to be conservative. $350 per contract traded. Back above the trigger, down again, this time to 85.15, $115 per contract traded. Up we go again. 87.35. That's $300 per contract traded. Little pullback, and we're in the process of triggering again. But where should you expect resistance? Well, this candle found resistance based on this. This candle found resistance based on this. So if you're going to go long here, you've got to expect resistance here until proven otherwise. Then you have a window of opportunity up to here. Get through that, window of opportunity up to here. Get through that, window of opportunity up to here. It's all based on logic. Gold, no trigger on the short side. 1727 was the long trigger. Why was 1727 the long trigger? Because we had to take out this swing high. That's why. And from 1727 we ran up to 57. That's $3,000 per contract traded. Hang on, let me fix my math. Yep. 1 point's $100, so 30 points is $3 grand. True story. One contract. Oh, you've been around long enough to learn to trade how to, or earn the right to trade 10 contracts, then we'll call it 30 grand. Not a bad day. Silver. Didn't quite trigger the short side, but we did trigger the long side at 21.30, made it up to 21.38, the published target. It's $400 per contract traded. When silver moves 2 pennies, it's worth $100. And then we ran right to the zone overhead. Now today's Thursday. This zone was published along with the other zones Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. This is why I tell you, once you understand the zones and how to use them, they'll become one of the most important tools in your trading toolbox. Okay? And you don't have to worry about how to try to figure them out, because I give them to you every Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. So you have a clear head to focus on what's in front of you and use the tools that you've been given. From 2138, which is basically 2140, up to 2191, which is basically 2190. That's 50 points. That's $2,500 per contract traded. And on the euro, two-sided action on the euro. The short side was 0,99960, and we put in a low at 99620. Now it only takes 80 ticks to make $100. So I'll let you do the math. 960 to 620. And if you can do that math, you can certainly do this math. Price gets above the BBC, triggers the long side at 100,835 and runs right to the target at 101,400. Do that math. You need to learn how to do the math. Okay? Now, what's happened? Have we seen this before yet today? Where the step line crossed to the right side of blue and climbing? Does that mean we've seen the high of the day? Perhaps. Worst case, this might be the high of the day if price gets up there. But right now, the step line has crossed over, which tells us price is going to try to pull back to the BBC. Price always reverts to the mean. And so I personally would let price take out this low, 01520, and to 015405. That's a day maker. Okay. Now if price takes out this high and this high, then I would trade this window of opportunity up here. Which brings us back to the daily chart, which hasn't changed a whole lot since the show opened. We might be a little bit higher. Let's look at the 30-minute chart of the ES. Yeah. Okay. So we almost filled the window. We backed off a little bit. We'll see if price can fill the window. Now remember, I'm conservative on the windows, because some would think that the high of these two candles should be the top of the window. But I'm always conservative, because you only need 2 points a day. The low of this window was 39.26. The high of this candle is 39.30. That's 4 points. You only need 2 points a day. We've seen 4, and we just came shy of hitting the top of the window. But when I draw windows of opportunity, over time, go back and look at all the previous daily broadcasts on YouTube. When I draw a window of opportunity, price will typically run halfway through, pull back to the bottom of the window, and then continue the move. Why? Are you ready for this? Are you ready? I don't know. Well, then how can you say that? Because I've been observing it happen since 2005. When I get in my car to go to the store, Do I understand how an internal combustion engine works? No. But I do know as long as I put gas in it, which is very expensive now, and properly apply my foot to the accelerator or the brake at the appropriate times, it will get me to the store, and by God's grace get me back home safely. I don't need to know how an internal combustion engine works. I mean, I have a vague idea, but I wouldn't be the guy to fix your car, okay? But there's certain immutable truths. If you have a car that is running properly and you put gas in it, it will carry you a long distance until it runs out of gas and needs more gas, or maintenance, or fixing, or whatever. Okay. You've been kind, so let me wrap this up. Here, let me return. Hey, just give me 1 second, please. Hold on a second, guys. Just hold on a second, guys, and let me take this phone call. I think it's important, so just hold on. I'll be right back. Typically, I only stop the show for 2 important calls. My wife first, my accountant second. So anyway, life's good, everybody's okay. We're talking about the ES and how it made it, just almost to the top of the window. Now it's getting that pullback. Chances are, not based on some kind of gambling idea, but based on historical, verifiable information, there's a higher probability of it making it to the top of the window, or at least the previous swing high, than not. And if you become a passport holder, I'll teach you all that. Unlimited one-on-one mentoring means exactly that. If you need a mentoring session today, tomorrow, the next day, and the next day, that's what you pay for. 2 hours of live training every day in live markets, that's what you paid for. A strategy and methodology that works across futures and stocks, forex and crypto, you got it. Logic 247 alerts around the clock, you got it. Concierge trade alerts, you got it. Access to tonight's members only workshop, got it. It truly is everything a trader needs all under one roof. And that's important, all under one roof. You don't have to piecemeal stuff together. Everything a trader needs, all under one roof, one low price. I said it before, I'll say it again. There's members in the audience today who have lost more in one day than what it costs to become a lifetime member, with no recurring fees, no upsells, no nonsense. The ball's in your court. We'd love to have you as a part of the family. Hey, but if what we do is not for you, we still hope you'll join us in the afternoons on the public broadcast. Yesterday, we closed the show out talking about walking by faith. Today, our good word for the day is about how to live wisely and well. Job 12:12. Wisdom belongs to the aged, and understanding to the old. An elderly lady says, one benefit of living so long is sharing what I've learned. So make my day by letting me share 3 secrets that can make your life better. Then she offers us some great counsel. Now, I remember when I was a child and somebody older than me, an elder, right? Oh, that's just, they're just old fogies. They don't understand the new world. They don't understand what's going on today. My friend, the more things change, the more they stay the same. I pray that you still have in your life someone older than you who was willing to speak truth into your life. My grandmother passed a few years ago, and thank you to all of you who mourned with me. I was, birth, death, marriage, divorce, and the passing of a grandmother who has prayed and fasted for you since the day you were born. And those are major life events. And many of you shared in my grieving and my mourning. And I thank you because that helped me get through it. Because I knew God still had work for me to do. So let's listen to what this elderly lady wrote. Number 1, time is precious. Don't waste it. She says, after my husband died, I was staying with friends. One evening they started arguing and eventually stopped speaking to one another. Now I know arguments happen. My husband and I had several doozies, but at that moment I understood as never before that the time we have together is precious. Don't waste it bickering about things that won't matter when your loved one is gone. Do everything you can to live in harmony and show your love. Why? Because no matter how long you have together, it's never enough. Sidebar. When I was growing up, and my mother was on her 3rd marriage, she married a good man. Well, my dad was a good man, but they just didn't work out. The second guy was a dirtbag, but the 3rd guy, he was a good man. Okay? They would get into arguments over stuff that neither one of them could remember what they were arguing about. And they would spend days, even weeks, without speaking to each other. fix dinner. We'd all sit at the table. But they never said a word to each other. The bills got paid, life went on. And then, eventually, my stepfather wouldn't come out and actually apologize. But he would say, hey, you want to go to Bowers? Now, let me walk you back in time, geographically as well. What we call Walmart today, we called Bowers in South Georgia back in the day. That was always the breaking of the ice. We'd all, as a family, go to the store together. Me, mom, stepdad, little brother. Not because we actually needed anything there. It was just their way of breaking the solitude. Because then they could say things to each other like, do you think this will fit me? Or will these shoes fit Dwayne? Or my brother Jeff? I mean, you know, people have different ways of doing it. But wouldn't it have been much better, instead of spending 2 weeks avoiding each other in silence, to just address the issue straight away? No, we're human. We're not perfect. Number 2, you're making memories. Whatever you do, good or bad, you're making memories. If you show up for Thanksgiving dinner, you're making memories. If you don't show up for Thanksgiving dinner, you're making memories. So why not make a conscious decision to make good memories? Now, this is still the elderly lady writing. She says, looking back, I thank God for so many unforgettable moments. The day my husband died, we kissed, as we always did when we parted. Men, when you walk out the door to go to work or go to the store, do you kiss your wife? If you don't, let me encourage you to. And vice versa. The day my husband died, we kissed, as we always did when we parted, at noon. By 5:30 that evening, he was gone. I've always been glad about that final kiss. So what she and I are encouraging you today is to create memories, not regrets. It's your choice. And number 3, it's not what happens, but how you respond that counts. Every day holds new challenges that will test your love and resolve. You have the power through Christ to make each test an occasion for growth. Life is full of seemingly unpleasant events. Try to handle them in such a way that when you're old, you will be able to look back and say, I thank you, God, for that experience. It helped me grow. And friends, that is how to live wisely and well. And that's our good word for the day. Today's broadcast has seemed like a bit of a special broadcast to me. I don't know about you. You might be shaking your head, no. But if you are listening via our YouTube channel, please click the subscribe button, click the little bell. That helps other people find our program. And by clicking that little bell, every time we go live, if there's like a breaking event or something and we go live, you'll be automatically notified. So please, at the YouTube channel, click the subscribe button and the bell, and you have our thanks. Thanks so much for tuning in today. Whoever you are. Oh, I got comments here in the question box. Rachel shares from her heart, and thank you, Rachel. Thank you for the word of the day. I lost my father in 2015. Time is precious. And Joseph, his comment says that today's good word for the day touched him as well. I pray it touched you. Thanks so much for tuning in. Whoever you are, wherever you are, may God continue to richly bless you with His mercy and with His grace. And I'll see you at the bell.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading E-mini futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.